So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that if you enjoy Genshin Impact, then you probably wanna play the game. And maybe that's common sense to all of you, but I'm not too sure MiHoYo has gotten the memo. Hello and welcome to Whalestat. I am Slice of Otaku. As it currently stands, Resin is very much a cornerstone of Genshin Impact gameplay. It is the ever-limited resource of progression itself. Character XP, character ascension materials, weapon ascension materials, artifacts, mora, talent books, and talent materials. Suffice to say, there is a whole lot that you can do with Resin. However, when you have depleted your pool of this oh so precious resource, it may at times feel as though there is nothing left to do. And that is not very good at all. It's the point where we have a chunk of the player base getting on for the sake of using their Resin and immediately going offline from there. This is a predicament that not even the mighty credit card can save us from. Perhaps you can replenish a bit of Resin at the cost of Primo Gems, but even then, you're only delaying the inevitable as you're limited to 6 extra dips a day. And that's even disregarding the fact that each dip for whatever reason costs more than the previous. Now, when I first started playing, I was under the impression that Fragile Resin and Primo Paid Resin would serve to fill your bar completely like the many other gacha games out there, but boy was I wrong. However, to play devil's advocate, I am under the impression that these are progression parameters put in place by MiHoYo for the sake of delaying us for as long as possible as they continue to fill out the game. With that in mind, perhaps it's wishful thinking, but my hope is that the Resin situation will in time become a bit less harsh. This sort of thing isn't uncommon for a gacha game, but in regards to other games I've played, that Resin count in time may very well increase. But until then, we are left to struggle. However, for those of you still willing to play the game despite your depleted Resin reserves, this video is intended to help you do just that. So here are the top 5 things you should be doing when you are out of Resin. Number 5, Achievement Hunt. There are 2 entire sections of the menu system dedicated to this particular pursuit. You firstly have the quite obvious Achievement section, but there is also the Battle Pass section. In regards to these straight up achievements, albeit not the most pressing matter in the game, fulfilling such things are certainly beneficial, especially if you're free to play, considering the reward of 5 to 20 Resin with each accomplishment. And with Genshin Impact being an ever expansive game, there are more and more achievements to be fulfilled as time goes on. Additionally, you can look forward to new name cards with the fulfillment of most sets. Which does bring up the fact that on your profile, your total achievements are right there at the top of the main page. So if you're on the lower side, why not get your weight up a bit? In regards to the Battle Pass, really and truly there are so few missions that depend on Resin. And even then, those can be completed with the Resin you would use to even get to the point of this video. To be fair, there is a weekly XP limit, but hey, it's something to do while you can. Number 4, Reputation Quests. Now admittedly, this is something that I personally neglected for far too long. In both Mondstadt and Liyue, you can take on reputation requests and bounties weekly, the rewards for doing so being twofold. On one hand, you have reputation XP that provides you with some one-of-a-kind rewards, and on the other you have the providence of Mora, what ultimately comes out to a maximum total of 150,000. And even if you've maxed out your reputation in both locations, you should still be doing these weekly for the money, because besides Resin, Mora makes the world go round. If you're new to all this, I'd suggest getting your reputation in Liyue up to at least rank 3 for the ability to craft condensed resin. But from there, to me, Mondstadt takes precedence for the sake of portable waypoints and the ever convenient food pouch. Seriously, being able to hotkey your food really makes a difference. Number 3, hunt enemies. Fight everything. The drops on the various creatures that inhabit the world of Teyvat are integral to the progression of your characters and weapons in one way or another. Beyond blindly charging into the wilderness and slaughtering its inhabitants, be sure to take that population control to the next level with your handy Adventurer Handbook. Every day you should be hunting these creatures to the brink of extinction for the sake of your own preparations. Rather than going out to do it when you really need those resources, do so in advance so they're there when you do need them. At a point, it will take these creatures a bit of time before they respawn, which ultimately limits your daily yield, so play smart. And even if you hit that limit, you can always head on over to other people's worlds and do the very same in pursuit of a never-ending supply of slime gunk. Additionally, don't forget to do your ley lines. Sure, it costs resin to cash in on the Mora or XP books, but it doesn't cost you anything to initiate the fight and pick up materials from the enemies that appear. Number 2. Farm materials. This is to an extent similar to the hunt of creatures in the sense that you'll be preparing yourself for the future. There are a number of materials to be collected in this game. It's to the point where at times they may seem to be in such abundance that it's a chore to collect them. But again, the frustration of having to search for them when you really need them to progress is the worst. Specific flowers and such appear in limited numbers daily, and so remembering to pick them up regularly is a major move towards your own success and sanity. Furthermore, with new features being introduced to the game all the time, such as the player housing system, there are always new ways to use even the most unremarkable of items. Oh, and you should totally be hitting trees all the time for the sake of wood for your furniture crafting. So even if it seems like junk right now, it may at a point be highly sought after, so don't play yourself. For instance, the electro crystals, flaming flowers, and mist flowers are to me noticeably lacking when it comes to meaningful uses. But with Inazuma just on the horizon, you best believe I am stocking up on electro crystals. And hey, if you ever feel like you have a ridiculous amount of something, you can always feed it to your parametric transformer, which we all forget we have sometimes. Beyond foliage, mining is way too important to overlook. Beyond leveling your characters, leveling up your weapon is oh so vital to your overall strength in this game. So you need to be hitting some ore routes and forging them into enchantment ore pretty much all the time. You can only smith so many things per day, so making sure you max that out daily is vital. Number 1. The Spiral Abyss. This is the definition of endgame content as we know it. With the exception of potential events, this is where the greatest difficulty index in the game currently resides. With this, you should be striving for success as much as possible to, of course, reap the benefits and rewards. But even beyond that, simply putting your various characters and teams to the test is fun and intriguing all its own. And furthermore, you could even do challenge runs if you are so inclined. But there you have it guys, the top 5 things to do when you are out of resin. In the comments, we would love to know how much of this you believe you will actually do regularly, and whether or not you get off the game when you are out of resin. Undoubtedly, these things can certainly be tedious at times, but hopefully we can one day say that the resin situation has improved, but for now, it is what it is. If you would like to see more Genshin Impact content from us, be sure to subscribe to Whalestat with notifications on, as we are swiftly approaching that incredible 10K milestone, so thank you to everyone supporting what we do. If you're enjoying the content, let it be known as we are trying to give you the best product possible at all times. I have been your host, Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.